let's talk about a different angle, because what I've seen from some black men that get in the comments and they'll say things like, well, stop running men away. And I'm always going to turn around and say, what about the mothers who never badmouth their dad, never caused them any trauma, and just really moved on with life the best way she knew how to with her kid or her children without causing that drama? I do know that women do push men away. I do know that women want to control the narrative when men move on and get into new relationships, and they want to cause drama and all of that. And I do not agree with it. It's something that I find absolutely appalling. And I don't respect women who keep a man from their child because you want to control that dynamic. And it's something that I prided myself on never doing. It was just a natural thing. It was, you have children the same way I know I have children. I'm taking on the sole custody and the sole responsibility of both of my sons, but I'm not going to chase you to be a dad. I'm not going to chase you for money. I'm not going to get into all of that drama. But again, I know there are women that do that. So when it comes to that narrative of stop running us away and stop pushing us away, what can you talk about as it relates to that?
Appreciate you being very forthcoming and truthful about like your own experience and what you strove not to do in terms of bad mouthing and demonizing the father of your children and everything.
It doesn't benefit anybody.
I think what tends to happen when these types of discussions come on from a clinician and psychological perspective, a lot of times people are reacting to the after effects. People are responding to, well, you chased him away, or he wasn't this, or he wasn't that, or she this, or she that. My job is really my job is to get people, when I say, were you going into a relationship looking at it through a selfless lens or a selfish lens? And were you going into it with your eyes wide open, or were you always hiding your eyes when the red flags were always there? I'll tell you why as an example. So, woman divorces her partner, her husband, they have 2 kids. They've been together for 8 years. They got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and she's in my office. And as we're talking, I'm eventually, I'm listening, I'm sharing, I'm displaying empathy, I'm hearing her out, I'm hearing her side and of what happened and what went wrong, and I'm not demonizing her for wanting to leave. There's 2 things I try to get people to think about. One, I just read all those statistics of what statistically you open up your child, especially your Black boys, to if and when you are going to potentially make a decision like this. So number 2, so the first question is, did I think about all of these factors before I decided to end my relationship and break up this family that I agreed to start and I agreed to be in? Usually they're thinking more about how they're feeling in the moment and not the short and long-term potential consequences of who this boy is eventually going to turn into. But part 2, and this is the one that I'm trying to figure out a way through these platforms as I start doing this to get people to start thinking earlier and sooner about certain things before they feel they have to make that decision. Is the reason or reasons other than abuse, neglect, other than abuse or neglect or theft or things of that nature, the question is going to be, are you breaking up your family? Are you splitting up the homes?
Yeah.
Are you increasing your child's being at risk for all the things we just listed off of something you knew while y'all were dating?
That is the accountability. That is the accountability piece for sure.
After time, woman after woman after woman, mother after mother after mother, 90 to 95% of them will spread the narrative to their girlfriends, to social media, to everybody that'll hear it about how much of a dog he was, that he cheated, that he wasn't romantic enough, that he wasn't the greatest helper around the home, that I was doing this or doing that. But then when I start actually probing and asking, Well, did he ever do that?
Right.
Was he ever cooking?
Right.
Wait, was he ever like the type that was really helping you with stuff, right? Oh, so you thought
Right.
he was going to change when you got the ring? Oh no,
Yeah.
you thought he was going to change when you gave him the baby. Oh no, he was going to change when you gave him baby number 3.
Yeah.
That's what he
You
was
know,
going
they think that though. Like, seriously, I think they do. I think people go into marriage with this unrealistic expectation that they're going to be able to change the other person. And I always say you should never go into a marriage as your best representative. You should always go in as yourself. I believe that you enter into a relationship with that you put on a facade to try to suppress them until you get what you want, and then you become a different person. Like, you can't be okay with your man going to the strip club, and then when you get married, you like, I don't want you to go to the strip club. I tell every woman this, anyone who's talked to me about marriage, anybody. I've been married for 18 plus years to the same man who is absolutely amazing. But you can't go in starting something that you know you're not gonna finish. You can't go in having threesomes and then when y'all get married, you like, I don't really want to do this no more, baby. I just want it to be us. No, but you came in and you made it seem like it was okay for us to
to.
have threesomes. And then when he changes his mind, now it's a problem. And there's the battle.
I, you're saying everything that's in my head. A lot of moms are dealing with the consequences of choices and decisions they made
Yeah.
based off of things they already knew when
Yeah.
they initiated and maintained and married and gave the men that they did children.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that- I know that the story is all this stuff is new and he's never done this before, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, as a clinician who's been doing this for 10 years, who
Mm-hmm.
is Black, who came from a single parent household, the
Mm-hmm.
reason why you left should probably not be the reason if you continued the relationship all the way to the point of walking down the aisle, of
Yeah.
agreeing to certain things, sharing assets, giving this man multiple children, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
etc. You're built. Just imagine building on a foundation that you know is faulty, and then halfway through the project being like, oh, "It's over." Well, now we're homeless.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
would you have thought to continue building on the foundation that you knew early on wasn't going to
Yeah.
be sufficient long term? You said it earlier. Men tend to go into a lot of these relationships hoping she doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
Women oftentimes go into relationships hoping that he does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or thinking she can change him.
Yeah, or thinking that she can change him for the better.
Mm-hmm.
For the better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're going into relationships thinking that you can change him or that he's going to eventually improve, or well, if I give him a kid or if we get married, then it's going to get the guy that he was when you first let's get past the good 90-day probationary period where everybody got they represent
Yeah. Right.
that next 6 months plus the women that's hitting you up and texting you, the women that say, hey, your man this and man that. Did you stay?
Yeah.
Did you still marry him?
Yeah.
Did you still now if you two were a couple and came in and I'm hearing out about this stuff, that doesn't mean I'm not going to challenge him. I'm not going
Right.
to challenge
Right.
him to improve as a man and say, listen, bro, I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not perfect, but you got to acknowledge that there got to be more effort because you also agreed to certain things, and you got to start to step it up. You're
Yeah.
now a father. You're now a
Yeah.
husband. More people are now dependent on you. You can't continue to just think about self anymore, my guy, because if
Mm-hmm.
you keep going down this path, she's going to change. And when
Yeah.
she changes, there's usually no point of no return. And when women check out, there's almost
That's
nothing
it.
you can do about it.
Hey, listen, R. Kelly made that song years ago when that song came out. I was like, yeah, he's right. Because that's where I was in my marriage. And I was still trying to make it work because I come from a home where my parents were divorced and also abuse and domestic violence. And my father was addicted to crack cocaine. And
Mm.
our family dynamic really became, it was already bad. My mom married and divorced my dad and then married him again because he promised he would change and because she wanted a two-parent home. But what I see, the whole narrative saying, well, stop pushing us away and stop running us off. I'm like, but why aren't you fighting to stay? And I'm not saying fight to stay in the home if there's a toxic dynamic, because I will never co-sign that. But why don't you all fight harder? Even if you're not going to stay with that mother, why
Mhm.
aren't you fighting harder to make sure you stay in your child's life?
I'll say this in relation to that, and it starts with the premise that people should need to be in a position to fight in the first place. Like
Mhm.
when men are going out to date,
Mhm.
and women will sometimes brag and boast about how difficult they are
Mhm.
for, oh, he's gonna have to fight for this, or he needs to fight for his children, or
Mhm.
um okay, what if we're already doing that in real life? Life is stressful. We're constantly trying to improve ourselves financially. The world is beating us up. I done read all the statistics and stats of what's likely to happen if he grew up in a certain situation, or how he's seen a certain way by the justice system. There's enough war outside. The absolute last thing that a
Mhm.
man would want, where he's supposed to find peace, get peace, have a home, is having to fight with the person that's supposed to be a conduit of those things. Now, that
Come
doesn't
on
mean that
now.
he didn't
Mhm.
do things that could contribute to why there's all this fighting going on. What I'm basically
Mhm.
saying is it men will choose current peace over the over current chaos.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and how do we know this? Because they'll wait till their kids turn 18
Mhm.
to tell them their side of things, then
Mhm.
go back and forth with a woman. The whole half the book of Proverbs is about what it's like to live with a woman who doesn't bring peace.
Mhm.
That's the book.
Mhm.
I wonder why a biblical writer would spend so much time about what it means to be a contentious wife versus a Proverbs 31 woman.
Right, right, right.
Consequences are generationally impactful.
Mhm.
We don't
Mhm.
actually want to be in a scenario where we got to fight and keep going back and forth with somebody for
Mhm.
leadership, for
Mhm.
direction,
Mhm.
what the kids can or can't wear, how much money we gonna spend in refurnishing the home, what type of
Mhm.
home we gonna get, this that. It gets to the place for a lot of men where they're like, I'm not doing this,
Mm.
because, and I'll argue this: the more of a man that he is, the less he's going to tolerate attempts at you trying to control,
Mhm.
manipulate, assassinate his character,
Mhm.
disrespect him, berate him. It's actually, if he's the man you think he is,
Mhm.
he's actually going to tolerate that less.
Right.
And a child is not going to make him tolerate it.
As he should. I
So
totally agree with that.
the consequence of that, from the man's perspective, is he's going to miss out on everything, or most.
Mhm.
He,
Mhm.
he now was going to split his time significantly with his children, if he even's going to go through that.
Mhm.
How about this? If I've had women or female friends, family members, co-workers, clients, all to varying degrees, admit to property destruction, admit to various manipulation tactics,
Mhm.
lying, lying about being pregnant and pregnancy tests, manipulation tactics of saying, well, if you do this, I'm going to tell the police you did that. Calling the police when y'all having arguments and disputes where he hasn't threatened or attempted to threaten or do anything to you. Calling brothers and uncles saying this man is doing this and doing that, but when they show
Mhm.
the version of what you spun that could have gotten people killed or arrested wasn't actually what matched up.
Hmm.
Men are dying because of the inability for women to choose men correctly from the beginning.
Mm.
So when we say, well, why aren't they fighting harder? Why are you two in a position where he needs to fight for anything?
Mm. That's
That's
good.
what I'm talking about from a therapeutic, psychological perspective. We are so damaged as a community
I agree.
that we will uphold and elevate all the bad things, all the bad traits and qualities, sexually, relationally, with marriage, with toxicity. Why don't they fight? Why don't you bring peace?